or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. First, I want to thank you for giving me a little of your precious time. Time is very valuable. They say time is money, and we see that especially, I think, in New York, right? But, it's important to take a little time out from the rat race to find some Zen space, right? So we want to spend time on ourselves also. So much of our life we spend time on others, and we exchange that for money so that we can live comfortably. But we should also spend some time on ourselves, right? If time is money, then why we work so hard to maintain ourselves? And time is money, right? So we should spend some time on ourselves. And so we take a little time out of the rat race to create a Zen space. We see that in New York City. Usually if I have to give a talk at a center or something, I don't like to repeat the same thing. I never like to give a class twice. So I usually, before the class, I'll go for like a 5-10 minute walk and kind of download something, a mood. I was so busy, so many things. So anyhow, just sitting here and doing the chant, I was just reflecting on, here we are in New York City, such a busy center of activity. This is called Rajagun, activity, passion. That energy is very vital. It's called the vital energy. But how do we channel it? Where do we channel our energy? That's also something we should think about. There's a busy fool and busy intelligence. So we want to be busy intelligent, not a busy fool. So therefore, that's why Sattva Gun directs Rajagun. Sattva Gun means proper intelligence and righteous action. Proper intelligence leading to righteous action. So therefore, this is what New York City is about. We should learn how to direct our energies properly. And that's why it's important to have a kind of practice. And as we deepen our practice, we can come to deeper understanding of the self and our purpose in life and our service. Because we believe in our Vedic teachings that we are meant to serve. That's part of what we're trying to do. Our identity as a group is called serve love. Bhakti Bandhav, serve love. What does that mean? That our nature is to serve, and what should we serve? We should serve love. In Sanskrit, this is called prem and seva. And this is the highest ideal of the soul, to be engaged in loving service. But loving service to what? So I want to speak a little bit about a mood that's encapsulated in a story that's at the foundation of our entire creation and our philosophy and our most ancient scriptures. The most ancient scriptures known to man. The Bhagavad Puran, which is coming from the original Veda. Veda means knowledge. And Vedanta means the end of all knowledge. And that end of all knowledge is encapsulated in 4 verses, 4 short verses in the book called the Bhagavad. Those 4 verses encapsulate all of existence and our spiritual journey. So all of reality and how that reality relates to us. That's our spiritual journey. How reality relates to us. That's called Chatusloki Bhagavatam. So, go through this kind of meditative thought experiment with me, if you will. And again, thank you for your time. You can imagine the beginning of everything. And that beginning is not the beginning. It is a beginning. The Vedic conception of time is cyclical. In the Gita, Lord Krishna says, Na tvevaham jadunasam na tvam neme janadipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam mataparam. O Arjuna, why are you lamenting? You're on the battlefield of life and you're confused about what to do. So don't lament. Never was there a time when you did not exist. Nor I, nor all these kings assembled here. And never in the future shall I cease to be. There is an eternal spark of being, consciousness within us all. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kamam. That unseen seer, unheard hearer. That is the conscious. We see consciousness is actually an external, it's something that we use to interact with the world, but there's something deeper behind it even. That is the Atma. And the consciousness is like its mode of expression and experience. The spirit. That spirit is eternal. So at the beginning, not the beginning, but a beginning, it's where the story starts. The first created being, he awoke. And all around him was darkness. You can imagine. Before any of these worlds were born, before any of the people were in them that populated the worlds, one being was created by the Creator, and all around him was darkness. And he thought, what should I do? Can we be happy if we're just alone? Some people think if we have all facility for comfort and everything we want, we'll be happy. But can you be happy alone? So the philosophy of impersonalism, that we don't need relationship. If we put it to the test in this world, it doesn't pass. We need relationship. So the first created being was looking around in darkness thinking, what am I doing here? If you ever have that question in your life, you can think, imagine you were alone in a dark room and then you go and you can't find any walls and it's just dark space everywhere. That's what it means to be alone. We don't want to be alone. It's scary. What to do? He looked down. He went down. He was on this stem of this beautiful lotus. And he went down and down and down and down and down. He couldn't find the source. And he went up and he couldn't find anything. So he sat down and he thought, what to do now? And he heard a sound. Tapa. Tapa means penance. You want to understand something deeply? You must meditate, do penance. And therefore he sat down. He said, there's nothing else I can do. Sometimes when other opportunities are taken away from you, like you were saying, this has been a difficult few years. But if it's done one thing, it's created a time for retrospection, meditation, trying to set our course properly and figure out what's our identity and our purpose. So he sat down and he began to meditate. We can all chant together. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. meditated like this. This was before time as we know it, before the sun and the moon. So how long he meditated, it's very difficult to estimate. Finally, in scripture it's described to be 1,000 celestial years. And one day in the celestial realm is 1 year on earth, approximately. After this penance, he achieved enlightenment. And it was like a window into a transcendental realm opened, a portal, a door opened, and divine light flooded. He saw for the first time something divine. And he saw all these effulgent beings, beautiful, multicolored beings. Some were appearing like diamonds, sapphires, many colors. Some had many arms. All were supremely effulgent and blissful. And he saw a heavenly transcendental realm. And he was in this abode of darkness, but it was like a window had opened. And then the supreme being who had created him came through his own realm, the spiritual realm, into that realm and saw him face to face and extended his hand. The Bhagavad says, Karasprasan. He shook hands with the first created being. This is Brahma. You can imagine that handshake. Imagine for 1,000 celestial years he'd been meditating. And now the fruit of that appeared before him in the form of the Lord and reached out and shook his hand. Priya Priyam, and it's described like someone who's a very dear friend is meeting you, embracing you. And then the Lord said to Brahma, I'm very pleased with your penance. He said, only by penance I create everything. By penance I maintain everything. And by penance everything is withdrawn and again appears. Therefore I'm very pleased with this penance, and it is my heart and soul. And then he said to Brahma, please ask me a boon. What would you like? And so Brahma, he had been doing austerities for a long time, so his consciousness had become very clear. So he asked for transcendental knowledge. Please help me understand who you are. What is this beautiful form I see? Even though I know you can't have material form. God doesn't have any material form, but yet you appear in this beautiful form. What is your nature? Who am I? What is my purpose? Good question. So the Lord smiled and said, Aham eva samevagre nanyat yat sarasat param pascharaham yare tascha yovashisyeta sosmyaham. Aham evasam. It is from I, from which everything that you see, not now, but everything that could even possibly be, is from I, myself. Everything has arisen. Nothing exists separate from me. Nanyat yat sarasat param. Whatever will come to be in the future, that also comes from me. And after everything disappears, I alone remain. Rityartam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyaratmano mayam yata bhasho yata dhamma. Whatever you perceive as separate from me, without relation to me, chatmani, know that to be illusion, maya, like a reflection in darkness. all you see around you. He was thinking, what is this dark realm I'm in? Without that divine spirit, without understanding your relationship to yourself and the Creator, everything is just Maya, illusion. So he said, therefore, try to see me everywhere. Yata mahanti bhutani bhutesu chavacheshvanu pravistanya pravishtani tatateshu nateshvaham. He said that know that I am within everything, and everything is within me. Just as the bodies we are made of. What is this body made of? In India, we burn bodies after they die. And then you get to see what the body's made of. Air. When you burn the body, the air returns to the air. Fire returns to the fire. What else? Space. All that space we're holding within us, when it's burnt, goes back to space, ether, and earth. Water evaporates, goes to the sky, returns to the clouds, and earth, little pile remains. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But Krishna said, I am within everything, and everything is within me, and yet I exist beyond it and separate from it. And so you, even though you have this form, you should understand that there's a deeper principle at work. There's something deeper, more spiritual, something divine. That which I am, you also have that quality, because you are my son. So as long as you're perceiving external reality separate from me, you're bound in the darkness of illusion. But once you come into relation with my nature and my being, then you come into harmony with all being, and you realize that God is present everywhere. Then you don't need to go to the temple, because wherever you go is the temple. The temple is within your heart. God is not only in your heart, He's in your hands and your feet and your toes, your family, your friends. He's everywhere. So to get to that place, we need some sacred space. So that's why we associate with each other. We chant. We take prasad, which is like sanctified offered food. Very nourishing to our soul and to our body. We try to come to that sacred space where, no matter where we go, we aren't alone, because we are not alone. When we perceive that we are alone, that is Maya. That is illusion. We are never alone. The Upanishad states, in the body, which is like a tree, there are two birds. One bird is eating the fruits of the tree. One bird is witnessing as his dear friend. That is described to be the soul and the super soul, the original soul. So wherever we go, whatever happens to us in our life, we need to come to that perception. The pure devotee, when we advance to the highest stage of self-realization, we can truly perceive God everywhere. We're never alone. Siya Ram Maya Sab Jagajani Koro Pranam Koro Judapani. That's why in Vedic culture we say Namaste. 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 The God within me offers pranam to the God within you. Why? Because Narayana, the Supreme Lord, resides in every living being's heart. So I'm offering you pranam. So this is what we're trying to do here. Externally, it's so many different things, and different religions have different practices, different types of culture. But what are we really trying to do when you get down to the root of it? Trying to realize that relationship, awaken into that. At that point, like Brahma, he was thinking, I'm alone. That's why he needed self-realization to realize, no, God is with you always. But you just need to wake up into that reality. He's right there, right here, right now, in his names. That's why we chant. When we chant his names, and there's many names of God, but when we chant, then it's described that his name, because he is transcendental, and himself are non-different. So we chant, we pray, and it's not that you have to stop what you are doing. All we recommend is adding a little bit of spiritual practice into your daily life. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. There's no fee, there's no charge. Swami Prabhupada said, I came to America. If I wanted to be wealthy, I would have charged $125 for teaching any mantra. But I gave it everything free. So I have not come to take, I have come to give. So this is free. Your soul, your relationship to God is not something anyone can take from you or anyone can make you pay for. You don't need to go to some guru and just take that. You go to Guru so that he will show you what's already in you. Guru is he who takes one from darkness to light. Guru. So it's like this example of Brahma was in darkness and then he saw God in his realm. He went from darkness to light through tapa. And the mantra given to him by his guru, that Om he was chanting, that's the root of Gayatri, and then he chanted the Gayatri mantra. And that's why it's called the Brahma Gayatri. Because the first created being, Brahma, chanted this to realize the absolute truth. So I want to end with this meditation. And we should not think this is some manufactured, speculative philosophy. This is as old and older than the mountains. Much older than when this place was called New York, or America, or Earth, or Pangea. This is the original teaching that's described to be Sanatan, eternal. It appears in different forms, different languages, different cultures, but the truth is one, despite whatever cultural differences there may be. This is described in these 4 verses I said, which encapsulates it all. There is something that is the I, the self. That self is based in consciousness, but its nature is one of seeking bliss. Because its nature is to relish bliss. Amritasya putra. Enjoy bliss. That is your destiny. So Sat Chit Ananda. Eternal existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is the soul. So if we're not blissful, and we're not realizing we're eternally conscious, then we're still in darkness of illusion. We're trying to go towards that, Ananda. Ananda means bliss. So that Lord Krishna told Brahma, his son, his first created being, you and I both are eternal beings. And we're very similar. You come from me, so you have my nature. But yet, you're lost in darkness of ignorance. So turn towards me. That's the 4th verse we didn't quote yet. He says, someone who has realized this, anvaya vyatarekabhyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. You should search after this truth and this knowledge of this relationship, this understanding everywhere, through direct and indirect means. Search after this relationship and try to come to this higher level of being. That's why our philosophy is that the soul is not God, but he is like the son or the daughter, the child. And so therefore some quality of God, some quality of the Father is in the Son. You cannot become your father, but you can become a father. So we should realize that why aren't we enlightened and strive towards that enlightenment? And then in all states, no matter, Krishna says, Don't give up your work. Work. Be with your family or be in the renounced order, however is best for you at this time. Don't give up your karma. Karmanyevadikaraste. You should work. But like I said in the beginning, with proper direction, knowledge, truth, satya. So this is the lesson that Brahma learned. And therefore, this is something we can hear, and then very quickly we go back to our life as we were. So therefore we say every day try to take a little time out for your spiritual practice, no matter what your tradition may be. Names and details may change, but the truth does not. So therefore, try to find some spiritual practice and spend some time on yourself. Time is very valuable, so if you're only spending on others, not on yourself, this is not very intelligent. But spend some time on yourself. That's prayer, meditation, and your spiritual practice. We recommend every day chanting the Mahamantra. Because in this age, it's described to be the best, easiest method of self-realization. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra is a prayer invoking our relationship with the Absolute Truth, Sri Radha Krishna, as soul part and parcel coming from them and going to them. Trying to realize that we are not of this world, we are of that higher realm, and therefore we should make our relationship to that realm of the Absolute. So therefore we chant. And in that realm, I want to play a 2-3 minute video of our Gurudev. He speaks very sweetly about what is the nature of that realm. That abode that Brahma got a glimpse of. How there is this kind of flip side of the reality that we see. The spiritual dimension. And what is the activity going on there? So I want to play this short video of our Gurudev, but before that we'll do 2-3 minutes more kirtan, and then we'll conclude like that, okay? Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanang pavane